Greetings fellow Smite players. This is a tutorial I've been wanting to make for quite some time because of the frequent tragedies that seem to happen every time I play Siege mode alone. I always end up having to try and carry, and because I suck at the game, that doesn't generally work out too well. In this guide I plan to give tips on how to win Siege with friends, or just advice on how to carry solo queue. Now with that, I realize that Siege isn't intended on being a try-hard, professional game mode, so I'm not going deep in strategy, but rather using tips on how to just have a better time and get more fun out of it. The first tip is that warding is more important than ever. Warding in Siege is extremely important, not only because of the ganking potential, but because of the Siege monster spawning at 3 minutes and having the top priority over any objective, because it can help you get that extra Siege Juggernaut. Now, while most people don't plan to kill the Siege Juggernaut, or the Siege monster rather, right at 3 minutes, it's always good to have a ward up, but you never want to be the first to ward, because the only wards allowed in Siege mode now are sentry wards, which will detect other players' wards. So you want to wait until you see someone veer off into the jungle and then come back. That usually indicates that someone is warded. Or keep an eye on the enemy's inventory and wait till one of their wards disappears. Then you go in, place your ward, you can get the kill on their ward, make them lose 135 gold, make them have to go buy a new ward if they want to see yours down, and make sure if they do buy a new ward, you're ready for them to come in and take over the warding position. The Juggernauts are extremely important early game, and they'll lose value as the game progresses, but they'll always be valuable, they'll always help you win. And I do believe they scale over the, what's the word, time. Over time, their health and their damage will scale. So now, thanks to MS Paint, I'll show you a few warding places, but this is mainly just a speech, really. Usually you want to ward here, here, unless they have really strong gank potential, in which you want to ward more defensively, usually around here, or here. I'm really good at drawing circles, guys, I know. And then, the most important ward of all, obviously, lies right here. Right in dead center of the Siege monster pit. Because, and I can't stress this enough, it is one of the most important objectives. Like, if you can choose between getting one tower and getting this, you want to get this. Because the one tower isn't going to help much. But the Siege Juggernaut can force enemies to go into a lane. You can take a tower here and still, if you play right, get another tower there. That being said, when a Juggernaut spawns, you'll want to take your free back, because if you have gold or if you're missing a bit of health, and you're in that lane where the Juggernaut is spawned, you can go back, buy, and then go right through the portal and be back in the lane. You won't miss any time. The normal meta, as I'm sure all of you know, relies on 2 left, 2 right. Say a Juggernaut spawns in the left lane. One of the right players, preferably the one with the most damage, is going to go back into the portal, come out, go to left lane, and help with that, forcing the enemies to go over. Because that lane is about as strong as if there were 4 people in it, but one of them will have to stay and defend here, because usually you'll want a strong pusher back in the right lane, just in case both enemies leave. You can take the tower easy. That being said, best way to get points towards the siege tower are buff camps. The buff camps are extremely important in Smite. Alright, I'm sorry about that, guys, the phone rang, so I had to edit a huge part out. So I'm guessing I was talking about the jungle camps, because I have one circled. Obviously you guys should know what blue buff does if you're watching a siege tutorial. Here we go. I totally lost my place, guys, I'm so sorry. The buff camps, they're really important, mainly because of the buffs themselves, but in siege mode they also offer a tremendous amount of points towards your siege engine. Now, if your siege engine is always already up, you have 100 points and your buff camps start to respawn, the best thing to do, generally, is to wait for your siege engine to die before getting the buff camps, so you get that extra amount of points. But if your enemies are really on fire and they're warding your buffs, or they're checking your buffs, waiting for them to get up so they can steal them, You're going to want to take those as soon as possible. Maybe have a few wards in between so you can see when the enemy's coming after them. Generally, the best wards would be right here and here, and you'll see everyone coming towards your buffs if you're attentive. Now, hand 3, or I think it's called Rage of the Gods, I'm not sure now, they changed the names around. It's going to allow you to do what you can with the Gold Fury and the Fire Giant, where you can take them below a quarter health, I think. That applies to the Siege Monster as well. So that's an excellent way of stealing the Siege Monster, especially if the enemy doesn't have hand 3. If the enemy doesn't have hand 3 and you have hand 3, all you'll need to do is make sure you have Siege Monster constantly warded. As long as the enemy is going after it, you can easily get it. Hand 3 is incredibly easy to steal with, and if both parties have hand 3, just go for the Siege Monster, and good luck on your securing. Now, rotation is the last subject I wanted to cover. Rotation is more important than ever in Siege mode. In Conquest, rotation is very well known. You'll get yelled at if you don't rotate, people get mad at you. No one really does that in Siege mode because it's just a fun game mode. But honestly, you'll want to rotate a lot because most people, I find, if they are going to build defense, they'll find out the 2 enemies they have in their lane and they'll build defense according to them. So you want to put 2 ADCs in one lane and then the mage and the guardian in the other lane. But you want to swap those up. You see, you want to swap them back and forth so your opponents can't build any specific defenses. And they'll have to go all around. If you have that meta. If you're going all AD, then good luck to you. And I'm saying AD, I mean physical power. I'm just too used to League of Legends. Anyways, that was all I've got for you today. That's my Siege mode tutorial, and I'll see you guys next time.